If you can master these three skills, winning is going to become so natural to you that people surrounded by you are going to think that you're just lucky and it's just all coming on a silver platter. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what is the real cost? What is the real cost of not learning these skills?
If we're not growing, you're not growing.
Hey guys, welcome to today's podcast where I'm going to share 3 skills when used with profit first that will make you truly unstoppable as a business owner. So we're going to cover the real cost of not having these skills and how they fit in with the profit first methods I teach. So guys, if you don't know me, I'm Nathan Rigney. I am a profit first professional. I'm the profit generator, and I was for 2024 the profit first professional of the year. And let's get into this podcast. There are 3 skills you need to be aware of and you need to enact to become truly profitable in business. And in fact, I would even suggest don't even worry about the word profit. There's just 3 skills that you need as a business owner that will get you to a position where you start getting rewarded. So in fact, these skills, they apply to everyday life. And this could be anything from wanting to lose weight, it could be wanting to know how you can reduce drinking as much, or it could even be like getting maybe your gambling in check. But ultimately, if you can master these 3 skills, winning is going to become so natural to you that people surrounded by you are going to think that you're just lucky and it's just all coming on a silver platter. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what is the real cost? What is the real cost of not learning these skills? So the first skill is to be able to firstly recognize and acknowledge what's stopping you from achieving whatever it is that's holding you back. And ultimately, this can actually be quite hard to achieve because firstly, you might not even be able to see or recognize what's holding you back. And if I'm going to be honest, what you need to do is you need to stop, and to be able to recognize what's going on, if something's not working, you need to be able to stop, recognize, and stop and just have a look and admit to yourself why it's not working and just have a think about what's happening. And personally look at it in like a reflection or session where, looking at yourself personally and seeing why you're not heading in the right direction. And then once that happens, only then change can happen. So for me personally, I've been in business now for 10 years, and guys, I had so many fears and so many things that were holding me back. I like referring to that as like putting the foot brake in the car, right? Once I started acknowledging them, I also got help from coaches to help really dig deep into what those problems were that were stopping me from being successful. It gave me the position where I was enabled to see what was stopping me from achieving greatness. So that's the first one. The second skill that you need to look at to be successful and to win is the skill of being able to recognize the patterns or the habits, or however you want to describe it. And once you start seeing the actions that you're taking and see that you're repeating things that are not doing you any good in your business or life again and again, and then being able to go, hey, that's not great, let's break that habit or that pattern to create a new one that works towards your goal. So like in an earlier podcast, I talked about the overspender. We've got to break the wiring in our heads. With the overspender, we talked about how there was no consequence on how much they spent, and there was no concern for tomorrow or people or organizations where you owe them money. Being able to recognize the pattern is the second skill. The third skill is now creating the new pattern that supports you achieving the greatness that you deserve. And it's about finding the right roadmap that's going to get you to that point where you are successful. And you don't need to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. What I basically guarantee that if someone has succeeded at something, that if you ask them how they did it and you copied the exact formula, you'd be just as successful. So really, it's the third one is like really looking at new patterns to get to where you want to go and thinking about someone else who's already done it and then just applying everything they've done. So let's summarize those 3 skills. The first skill was recognizing and acknowledging the problem. The next skill, so 2, was get to know the pattern or the habit that continues to support the problem. Number 3 is create a new pattern that supports a better outcome and removes the problem. The real cost is not having these skills and then not applying them. So everything I teach in Profit First is rendered useless unless you really look at these skills and you apply it. So let me share with you one example. So let's think about a tradie who puts up fencing. So let's say a fencer. The sales revenue doesn't cover all the expenses of the business. The tradie is flat out going from job to job and there's nothing to show for it. Even though he's busy, he's often getting lots of callbacks to jobs and he's most known for being the cheapest. So let's recognize the problem, right, in our first skill. The price the tradie has set to cover his labor, i.e. his time, and the cost of the materials is set below where it needs to be. So besides the problem that the tradie is not charging enough, he also has to get the job done as fast as he can and probably leads himself in the position where he's often cutting corners. What's worse is when the job isn't done right, the tradie has to go back and fix the problems. What's the pattern? This is our second skill, right? There's a few. Let's go through some of these patterns. The first pattern that I can see right there is we're not setting enough time to get the job done and not representing this in the quote before accepting the job. The second pattern is a pattern where the tradie is underdoing on every job and it's probably in a position so that the tradie can win every possible lead that is put in front of them. The third skill then is when we apply this example is let's create a new pattern. So first, the tradie needs to start being honest on the time it takes to complete a job. And the tradie also needs to communicate this to the customer and put this on the quote accordingly. The second thing is when we look at achieving a new pattern or changing this pattern is the tradie needs to understand why is it he's undercharging? Why does the tradie think that to be the cheapest quote is the best way to get every lead? What the tradie really needs to do is he needs to rewire himself or herself to understand that you don't need to win every quote or every lead that comes to you, and that you have to set an amount that you need to charge for time that it takes to complete the job. And so the pattern that you need to create is one where you promote the quality of your work and accept that you're not going to win every quote. Ultimately, let the other fencing guys, the other tradies have the low paying jobs. Let's face it, it's also going to mean that you're probably not going to deal with problematic customers anymore either. And the issue with every business operator who doesn't have a profit is that the business owner, whilst they're in complete control, they can't see what they're doing is holding them back. And it doesn't matter if it's a debt or spending more, the business just cannot afford expenses that it's got. It might be that it's not investing in the business when it's necessary. But if you are to take these 3 steps, these 3 skills as a business owner or even in personal capacity, you're going to be unstoppable. And the reason is because you're going to start taking the right action and applying the right steps. Once you start doing that, you're going to have the confidence to reset. In this example with the tradie, he's going to be able to reset the price. He's going to, and he or she, going to start being able to see profits that they never had. And what's better is that you're going to have a business that you actually like being in. So imagine having to run around all around town and fix up problems all the time and not get paid. Horrible. It's a horrible idea. Ultimately, this sort of stuff with these skills and like this example, this is what I teach in my Profit First program. As a certified Profit First professional, I've applied these rules in my own life and in my own business. And we look at globally, there's hundreds of certified Profit First professionals, and they've helped 200,000 businesses globally, one-on-one or in group settings, apply everything that Profit First is. And it's the same formula, it's the same pattern that's being applied every time, and it's using these simple 3 rules, where you're then getting this success. So, if you want to be, say as another example, if you want to be the best golf player out there, right, and you've hardly played any golf or whatever, you've got to ask yourself, who is the best golfer out there and what have they done? Maybe you get a coach to assist you, or maybe you find the right golfer and you just apply the lessons and the advice and the actions that they've put in place that make them a winner. So it's just reapplying those same patterns. So these are all these proven winning strategies. They're all patterns and habits that are proven, right? So don't go and recreate the wheel. When I look at Profit First, there's been 800 businesses that have applied it globally. And of that, about a quarter, 200,000 people have actually gone to a Profit First professional like myself to coach them and help them through the process. And these businesses, they applied profit first. They applied a pattern, a winning pattern that we know wins. So, when you start applying everything that profit first says, and everything that I teach, just like every other certified profit first professional, that's when we start seeing your own success, but then also the success of every other implementer of profit first. And that's when we start seeing these businesses and these success stories. The real question you've got to ask yourself is, what is the real cost of not working on and applying profit first? Profit first, we recognize the problems that's holding back your profit. We work out the patterns or the habits that you have that's holding back the profit again and again. And lastly, we apply new patterns that we know are the creation or the winning success formula of profitability. And that's rinse, repeat. It's the same thing we do. It's just a matter of just recognizing the problem, seeing the pattern, creating a new pattern. That's all for this week's podcast. But before I go, as a bonus for our loyal viewers and our listeners, I am holding a masterclass on the 13th of February, 2025, and it's free to attend. This is going to be on Zoom. It's not going to be posted anywhere online or recorded or uploaded anywhere on any of the platforms. In the masterclass, it's 45 minutes where I'm going to take you on a deep dive into understanding how you're stuck in a debt cycle and give you everything you need to know on how to get unstuck. But also, I'm going to show you how to fix this problem once and for all. If you're keen to register for this one-off free event, get in touch directly with us with the bio link down the bottom, and my team will send you the link, the invitation to our Zoom event. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our masterclass. See you guys.